Hi, Paul Hagan here with MaxAir Trampolines. In today's project, we're going to set up a 7x14 above ground trampoline with a net system. So we've got everything laid out. So when you get this thing delivered to your house, it's going to come in a big giant crate. You're going to lay it all out. This is what you're going to get. You've got your legs over here. You've got small legs and large legs. You've got the net poles, springs, trampoline bed, the rest of the framework, the sides and the ends of the trampoline, and our ladder and our padding. What we're going to do now is we're going to lay it out as if we're going to get ready to set it up and get our pieces all in the right position, and then we'll start the actual build. So we're going to get started on this project right now. Let's go have some fun. We've laid out the frame here all the way around. We got 3 pieces on the sides, 2 pieces on the ends, and again the 3 pieces on there. We've got the small legs are going to get bolted to the outside. The big legs are going to get bolted to the inside. We've got 2 different type of bolts. We've got the long bolt and we've got the short bolt. The short bolt is what we're working with right now, and that's going to be pinning the frame together at the ends and putting all the legs on with the short bolt. When we get to the longer bolt, it's going to be connecting our corner pieces and our net poles. Each bolt gets 2 washers, one on one side of it, one on the other side, and then this threaded lock nut is put on there. We're going to get the smaller bolts right now. We're going to tip the frames up and start connecting the legs on to the bolts and pinning the long sides or the framework together with the bolts. Make sure you use a washer on each side of the bolt. Just finger tighten everything. Don't wrench it down at this time. We'll be getting to that in a little bit. Now we've got the end of the trampoline put together and the legs snugged, not tightened too tight. And we've got the long side. We're going to bring that into place right now. Lift it, kind of slide it in, line up your bolt holes here, right like that. There you go. And we're going to bolt this through. So one washer, the long bolt, right through the other side, put a washer on, and we'll just finger tighten these. We'll tighten them up after we get all 4 corners done. Then we'll go back and we'll make sure everything's tightened up. We're gonna get on to finishing the rest of this, and then we're gonna get into the foam padding. Now we've got our side piece standing up here. I got a temporary bolt here, just finger tightened. I'm putting the rest of the bolts in. This is the same thing I did on the other corner. So we're doing the same thing on all 4 corners. Just get it finger tightened. You're gonna have to move the frame around, wiggle things into place so it lines up right. Okay, we've just put these in here, got them lined up. Everything is connected now all together. So now it's okay to tighten up these corners. If you tighten them too soon, you're not going to be able to hook the last corner. So everything's got to be hand loosened. So we're going to come around, we're going to tighten these up right now. That's going to suck everything right tight together. And then we can start getting our bed and springs on, put our pads on, and that's what we'll be doing next. Now we've got the frame put together, we're gonna start with our springs, and we have two different types of springs. We've got our jumbo spring, which is what makes you jump high on the trampoline, and we have a skinnier spring and a little bit longer. That's our corner spring. The corner spring makes it so that the corner doesn't sag down and throw the athlete off the trampoline. That's our self-centering technology. It's a tighter spring. It doesn't allow you to go down, so it will throw you back towards the center of the trampoline. We do one corner spring on the end of the trampoline, and the first two are the corner springs as well, and then everything else is the big fat spring. So we're gonna hook up our bed here. So what I like to do when I'm working inside the trampoline like this is hook it on the bed and then pull it to the frame. And we're gonna let Jake over here get it, go. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna look and see, because we may be doing a little adjusting here to make this kind of square. So this doesn't look very square to me. So I'm gonna move that over so I get more of a square piece here. So one corner spring on the end, the first two on the side. There you go. What I like to do from here is we want to work across from each other. So what we'll do is we're going to work the long sides first. Doesn't matter, you can work the short side first. We'll work the long side today. And I hook the springs on the bed, and then I pull them to the frame, and I just work my way down. When I get down to the corner, I duck out. So I'm just going to hook these on and be ready for my partner across from me to be able to pull the springs. And if some people have actually hooked up all one side, and then they're not strong enough to pull it to the other side. So you want to alternate back and forth. So I like to put them on the bed and pull them towards the frame. So I don't want to get too far ahead of him, and I don't want him to get too far ahead of me. I just want to be able to hook the springs up. He hooks one, I hook one. And we just keep moving down the trampoline until we get to the other side. Now we've completed the one side, as you can see. We're moving on to the other side, again working across from each other. We'll have all these set up. Once we set this trampoline up, we don't want any kids bouncing on it until the net poles are in place and all the padding is in place. Now it's time to put the pads together for the 14-foot long side. We've already done that on for the corners and for the 7-foot bags, but for shipping reasons, you're going to have to do a little taping and gluing and putting the pads together. So right now we've got our Olatex foam, and what we're going to do, put these together, and we're going to put a couple strips down here and tape this together on both sides, okay? So this just gets hooked on here, wrap that around the corner, bring it down the middle, put another side here. Same thing on the other side. The next step we're going to grab is our foam, our poly foam. We're going to take it, and sometimes I'll put plastic down. Watch where you're, because we're going to be spraying foam glue, so watch where you're spraying. I'm going to take this foam glue, spray one side, which I'm not going to do right now because it actually goes to a customer. So put a generous amount along here, spray it, spray the other side, wait until it gets tacky, just touch it with your finger, you feel it getting tacky, then just follow that edge and pull it in. I'm going to line them up very carefully, put those corners together and just sort of get it to stick and put it right together, and then kind of push it and make sure we're level all the way down, that the glue's on there, okay? So once it's stuck in it, you can pull it apart a little bit and re-stick it. You got a couple of minutes before it hardens, then it'll take 24 hours to fully cure. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to stuff it inside the 14-foot long bag. So with it glued, which obviously this isn't glued right now, with it glued, it's a little easier. We're going to stand this up like this. We're going to take our cover and go right over the top. We've got this cover on, but actually what happened was the foam ended up curling in the corner. So I'm just going to reach in there. Sometimes it feels like I got to climb in the bag. Make sure that corner's all squared up. Get it set. Now we're going to place this inside the bag. It only goes 3/4 of the way in. We're going to slide this in. Okay, so get your corner lined up, get your back end lined up, then grab your can of glue. You don't have to go heavy, just spray some glue in here. Just work your way down with the glue down here. Make sure this lines up on the edge and it sticks down. That way the foam won't shift over years of use. All right, now that we've got this cover stuffed, we're gonna throw it up on the trampoline, and then we're gonna put our corners and our end bags on there, and we have one more bag to put together. Throw it in so it's up towards the bed. Just to give yourself some room to work, we still have some Velcro to put on the trampoline, which we're gonna be putting Velcro on the sides. You'll see that in just a minute. All right, now that we got these pads out of the way, we're gonna go glue and stuff the last bag. Now it's time for sticky back Velcro, so we can Velcro our pads down. So we'll just come up here. Our net pole is right here, so we're just gonna come about an inch away from that hole. Get it started. What I like to do is lay it out and stretch it as I stick it down on the frame. If you don't stretch it, when you're pulling it, it'll end up getting wrinkles in it. Once that's done, we're gonna do each section all the way around the trampoline, both top and bottom. And then we can attach our net pole and then our padding. We've laid out the net poles. The net poles, there are 4 net poles, the corner ones, that are different from the side ones. These angle out away from the corner. So when we put them up here and we put them in place like that, you can see they go out away from the corner, right at the top. We're gonna secure this with a washer and a bolt from up top, nut on the bottom, and once it's secured, down, finger tighten down, then come through with a wrench to tighten them all up. Okay, now we're going to put the pads on and Velcro them down. And these have notches for each one of the poles, so as we get it to where it needs to be. So now it's time to put our Velcro straps on. We're going to take, and we have one with a notch, one without a notch. So we want to put the ones without the notch on first. So you just start at the back side, get it right down the back end, get it into place, stretch it, make sure I don't see any Velcro on that, peeking out on the side. Maybe a little bit right there. This will go between the mat and Velcro at the bottom. This notch right here fits this corner. So when we go into here and hook it on the back, then this notch works right around that corner and hooks right into place. So we're gonna do that on all 4 corners. Now that we've got all the pads securely mounted and all the straps in place, I know you want to start bouncing. It's not time just yet. We got to get the safety net up first, and then you'll be able to bounce. Okay, now we've got our net. We're going to get this set. I set the ladder up right over there in the corner, so that's where we're going to look for the zipper and put the zipper and line that up with the doorway. The bottom is this with the Velcro. That goes in what we call our alligator clip. Our top is just the thin edge right around here. So we find our zipper. We're going to line it up between these 2 posts. And then from there, we're going to figure out where our first carabiner hooks on. It's about right about here. We may have to adjust it after the fact. We're going to give it a little pull here, figure out what's straight and what one's the best one to hook it into. We've got a little bit of sag here and here. We pulled it a little too tight over on the end over there. So right now what we're going to do is just sort of adjust so we have the same even amount of dip. We're going to start here and hook our net up. Here's where we kind of want our zipper to go. So we're going to stick that right in here. All right, we're gonna work this down and around and get this net all the way into the alligator clip. So what I'm doing is Velcroing it to one side, either the top or the bottom. This one I'm doing the top. Okay, so once it's in there, we're just gonna fold this right up here, and that keeps anybody from falling out of the net. We've just completed the setup on the 7x14 deluxe unit. This is one of the best trampolines you'll ever buy. We've got the extended pads on this thing, the net. You'll be nice and safe inside here. Make sure you go one at a time on the trampoline. That's where most injuries happen, when too many people get on the trampoline. Also, the bed itself, when you get it, it needs to loosen up for the first couple of days. The paint's a special kind of paint to help with the UV. It takes about 2 weeks to loosen up before you get to really start bouncing and enjoy the high bouncing of this MaxAir trampoline. And even at 60, I can still do backflips on the trampoline. You enjoy your MaxAir trampoline.